right, it is a tough morning, but we do want to have a little bit that lifts you up in the middle of the night. So the year was 1968. Music artists like Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell, Aretha Franklin, Smokey Robinson were heating up the R&B charts.
But in Manhattan's predominantly black Harlem neighborhood, a very different group of artists was getting together to create a very special museum celebrating and promoting black art in America.
Today is a particularly exciting day because it is the opening day of the Studio Museum in Harlem exhibition for our artists in residence. This is a partnership across two incredible institutions, the Studio Museum in Harlem and MoMA PS1. This is part of a larger partnership which has these two institutions collaborating during monumental parts of their own institutional history. In the Studio Museum's case, we are in the process of building a new building.
I think most people knew that the Studio Museum was going to be closed for a number of years. And because it plays such a crucial role in the artist community, and certainly in the African American artist community, I think those of us around town with other institutions all felt a real responsibility to help out in any way that we could.
Since its founding in 1968, the Studio Museum in Harlem has been devoted to rethinking, reimagining, and in many ways through the exhibitions, our programs, rewriting the canon of art history. The decision to work with the Museum of Modern Art and MoMA PS1 happened very organically. We are working all around the city with many different museums and arts organizations.
I was excited about it. It was an opportunity to work with two institutions at once, and then one as prestigious as MoMA. I'm from Hamilton Heights. It's a neighborhood in Harlem, and I lived there my entire life. Over maybe the past 2 decades, I've seen the neighborhood change a lot. I don't know if it will be the same in the future. A lot of these houses have been recently renovated and stuff, but these houses have been here for like decades. The Studio Museum is very important because it's one of the hallmark cultural institutions within Harlem. And I think to have like a really beautiful, really flourishing community, the cultural centers are really at the center of that. When I think about Harlem and the cultural centers that exist, I think about the Studio Museum. The body of work that I created for the Studio Museum show is as much about my memories of Harlem as it is about Harlem as it is in the present moment. All those images were inspired by just being an individual walking down the streets of Harlem and different people that I saw, different people within my community. I think art can be a universal language if people are willing to participate in it. Art is dependent on its audience.
At the Studio Museum, we welcome the opportunity to bring this year's exhibition to a new audience. Now, in some ways, our audience in Harlem had always been diverse. People came from all over the city, the country, and even the world to see the work of artists of African descent.
It's an exciting opportunity to think about what these next steps mean for our institution, ways that we can engage new audiences and new publics, and be thinking critically about what the future of the institution should look like.
We look forward to the moment that we open the doors on the new Studio Museum in Harlem. In the new building, what we hope is that we will continue to present artists of African descent, to show our collection, to have our residency program, but we also hope that in that new building we'll begin again to think about how art and culture can be an important part of the community, of the city, and of the world.
Just so beautiful there. A big thanks to our producers, Gentrick Shinga and Michael Bickle, for bringing us that incredible piece there.
Gentrick shot that. She's living her best life right now out in Ghana, but loving the work that she left behind for us.
Definitely.